Hey, today I'm going to show you how to use the Desmos Graphing Calculator that runs online in a browser like on a Chromebook or any other laptop PC to solve problems that have to do with exponential growth or decay. And so I'm going to use a problem from one of our recent assignments to demonstrate this, and hopefully this will help you out. All right, so this slide shows one of the problems from our unit. And this one's talking about three cars. And we'll just look at the first one as an example. So we've got a Mini Cooper, kind of a cool car. In fact, if I want to go back a slide, I can see a picture of it. There it is right there. So we're looking at this Mini Cooper. And it costs $22,000. So that is going to be the initial value. If you remember, we've been working with exponential relationships, and you always need that initial value. So it's usually like y equals the initial value. And then you're multiplying that by what's called a common ratio. Now, this Mini Cooper, it says it's predicted to depreciate. That means go down in value. That's what cars do over time. At an annual rate, what does that tell you? That means every year. So it's going down in value every year by 13%. Okay, so let's try to figure out, this is going to tell me the common ratio, because after 1 year, it's not going to be worth its whole value anymore. That's 100%. It's going to be 13% lower. That's 87%. I got that by, I said, okay, 100% is the initial value. And if I take away 13%, that gives me 87%. 100 minus 13, that's 87. So the common ratio is every year it's only worth 87% of the year before. So, 87% is less than all of it. So let's go into our graphing calculator and let's try to put this equation there. So I'm going to open up a new tab, desmos.com. And Desmos, when you get to their website, has math tools. And they have different calculators, but we're going to use the graphing calculator today. And we're going to put our equation in. So we'll put y equals, and the initial value of that car was $22,000. We've got to multiply that by the common ratio. Remember, we said that the common ratio is 87% because it loses 13% every year. So 87%, the way you write that is as a decimal. So 87%, you move the decimal twice, and you get 0.87. We close that. Now, we have to put an exponent, a little x up there, because that means every year, that x goes up by 1. And so it's 0.87 to the first power, then 0.87 to the second power, then the third power. That's the exponential part. So the way you do that on these calculators is I want to get that upward caret symbol. It's the little up arrow. It's above the 6 on my keyboard. So if I hold down Shift and press the 6, it pops me up to the exponent, and I can put in an x. So here's this equation. 22,000 is the initial value times the common multiplier to the x power. That means any year, like if it's 3 years from now, that x is going to be a 3. If it's 10 years from now, it's going to be a 10. Well, how do we see the graph and the table? My graph only goes up to 6 on the y-axis right now. Now I can scroll up. That's going to take me forever because I have to get all the way to 22,000. That's the starting value. So here's what you can do. You can look at a table and graph for an equation by clicking this little gear. And then you have the option, this means convert to table. So here we go. So for these, we can actually ignore the negative numbers. It doesn't make sense to have negative years. But 0 years, that's the initial. That's like when the car is brand new, it's $22,000. So after 1 year, it went down to $19,140. After 2 years, it went down to $16,651.80. And I can put my cursor there and I can hit enter several times. Now, This problem is going to make you go out to 10 years, so I can go all the way to 10 years. Now take a look. At 10 years, my car is only worth $5,465. So it was over $20,000, $22,000 to be exact. And now after 10 years, it's about 1/4 of that. So this is really going to be all you need to look at that problem. Now, I'm going to click this little magnifying glass because what that does is it's going to show me the graph of this table. So let's look at that. If I click this, there we go. So let's look at 0 years. It's at $22,000. After 1 year, you can click on that. It's $19,140. After 2 years, it's $1,665, $651. And you can keep going. 3 years. 4 years, 5 years, and I could keep going all the way to 10 years. So that is a great example of how you could use Desmos to figure out the answer to problems like this. So we created the equation, we made a table, we made a graph. And if you wanted, you could even just take a screenshot of your graph after you make it. Like I use my little, there's a screenshot on your Chromebook, but I mean, I could take a screenshot of it, and that could be what I put in my my answer on the slideshow. Because this slideshow is going to ask you for the equations. It's going to ask you for the table. So there we go. Remember, we have the table right here. So there's your answers. And then it's going to ask you for the graph. And I don't care if you just insert graphs like this for all 3 cars. So hopefully this helps. My video got a little longer like they always do than I wanted, but I wanted to really show you step by step how to use Desmos for these problems.